Hi, I'm Dustin Stuckey, the creator and developer of Forensics Tournament Manager, I guess is what I'm going to call it. In this video, I'm going to give a tutorial of how to use just about every aspect of the manager. So it might get a little lengthy. I'll try to split it up into multiple different videos so that you can look up specific needs when you run into trouble or if you need any help. So the first thing that you need to know is that Tournament Manager runs on Google Sheets. So you're going to need a Google account to access it, but that's it. That's the only requirement as far as what software you need. You don't really need any software. You just need a Google account. I would recommend using Google Chrome, the web browser, just because everything on Google Drive runs really smoothly on Google Chrome, and I can't guarantee what your experience would be like with other browsers. Definitely don't use Internet Explorer, and I wouldn't use Edge either, as stuff doesn't typically run as well on those web browsers. So use Google Chrome, or Firefox would probably work just fine, or Safari even would work well. So once you get to the web page where you can access this file, Tournament Manager version 1.0, you can create a copy. You're not going to be able to edit anything in this particular spreadsheet because this is my locked down original version. So click over here where it says File, make a copy, and you can pick what folder you want to put this in. It could be anywhere within your Google Drive, and name it something that will be easy to find and even easy to archive later. As the years progress, you might end up using this, hopefully, more than one season. So you should probably put the year of your tournament and the name of the tournament and the year of the tournament. So I'm just going to put test tournament 2017 and click OK. And now this has created a new document for me. And again, it looks pretty well blank here. There's not going to be anything in these cells anywhere on the spreadsheet, but you will have these 5 tabs down at the bottom, and each one of those has various different uses and applications, and I'll get through each of those. You'll also notice that on the top where your toolbar is, there's a new menu item called Tournament Manager. This is where everything happens. This is where all of the steps to running your tournament are located right up here. So the first thing you will do is you'll run the setup. Oh yes, every time you run a new application, be it in Google Sheets or Google Docs, or whichever thing you're using, it's going to require authorization. So this window will pop up, and click continue, select your account, and authorize or allow. Okay, so now we've got the setup menu on the right hand side here, and I'm still going to call this the test tournament. And I will schedule it for tomorrow. As of right now, these are the 10 events that Tournament Manager can handle. I could foreseeably add more events as needed. These are the 10 events that I offer at my tournament, and that's why I built it this way. And then you can select the maximum number of entries per event for a school. I'm going to set mine at 4. And the first thing I'll do is click Set Events. Click that, and if you're watching closely over here, you see that some information has been filled in both the teams sheet and also in the events sheet. But nothing else is filled in yet. Next, I'm going to click Create Form. What this does is it generates a form that you can send out to other coaches along with your invitation. I typically send an invitation by email, and then this form is a clickable link within the body of the email. And once you've clicked Create Form, it takes a couple moments, and then you're finished with the setup. But you'll see this Form Responses tab pop up, or sheet pop up here. Click on that, and you can see all the information that you're going to get from that form. Now you go to the top here to the Form menu, and you can click on Send Form. That gives you a couple of different options on ways to send this out. You could just copy and paste all of those email addresses right here, or you could click this link here and copy it to your clipboard. Then you can paste that into the body of your email. Then when you send that out to other coaches, this is what they're going to see. So they can put in their team or school name, coach's email. It's handy to have those on hand so that you can use them for contact and also for sharing your tab sheet, which I'll show you later. And then for each event, they have the number of selection options that you specified in that setup stage when you're saying how many people they can bring to the tournament for each event. All right, and then they'll hit submit, and it will kick it back to you. Once you get that information, it's going to look like this. This is a test that I ran earlier just so that I wouldn't have to generate all of this information for you in real time. So all I'm going to do is copy this and paste it into the new one, the one that we're running right now. All right, so now we've got a bunch of different schools. We've got 15 schools, the coaches, and all of their entries. And of course, I would give it until a couple of days before the tournament, or whatever your deadline is for entries, before you do this next step. And what you're going to do is you're going to highlight all of this information that they've given you. So from that very first team all the way over to the bottom of IDA here, right click, copy, then go back to this teams sheet and click at cell B2 right under team and hit paste. And now you see we've got codes for each of the teams. So team 1 or Team Disney United is team number 1, Xavier School is team 2, so on and so forth until you get down to code 15. All right, and we've got all of this information telling us how many entries they have for each event, and we're going to use that now to code our contestants. So when I click Code Contestants, what that does is it creates a code for each one of these contestants. So for example, team number 1 has 2 in extemp. So they will have 1A and 1B. Team 2 has just 1 in extemp, so it'll be 2A. You get the point on down the road. It goes all the way through, generates a code for each one, and then we can see those codes over here on the contestants sheet. So you can see we've got quite a few entries today. And then if I click over here on events, so we've gained some information here as well. It has done the math for us to show us how many entries there are for each event. And then it's going to figure out how many rooms you would need. This is based on 8 contestants per room per round. If you want to adjust that, you could do it in a couple of different ways. One way you could adjust it is by actually clicking up here in the formula bar. And if instead of 8 people per per room per event. Let's say you wanted 6. You don't want that many. So that increased the number of rooms that you would need. Now, the other way you can adjust it is simply by changing the number in the cell. So let's say instead of 5 rooms for SSA, I don't want necessarily 8 people to be competing in each room. Instead, let's see what happens if I give an extra room. See, now I've only got up to 7, 6.6 average per room. So that can help you out figuring out how to divvy up that the limited space, as most of us have when we're hosting a tournament. How do you use those rooms best so that you don't end up with events that have way more people in the rooms than you would like, and then rooms that are pretty bare. So if you're going to change the number of rooms, now is the time. You need to do that before you run the next step in Tournament Manager, which is to assign those rooms. So before the program can assign the rooms, it needs to know, kind of set in stone, how many rooms are available for each event. So now that we've got this set, I'll go ahead and do that. So I'll click on Assign Rooms. Now that kicked us over into the TM data sheet. This sheet contains, well, just like it says right up there, it contains data that's vital to running Tournament Manager. Do not adjust or delete the information here. Just for safety's sake, I've actually hidden column A, which is where that information is located. So don't adjust any of that information. If you do, it will not allow the Tournament Manager to work later on. It will cause all sorts of problems. Now, I would also like to add that if something happens and you need to rerun the assigned rooms, you're going to have to do something else first. Here, let's look at what that did. That generated in this sheet, in the rooms sheet, it generated a schedule for each room. So I've got rooms 1 through 7 in Extemp. Here's round 1, here's round 2, here's round 3. So it tells me, who's going to be in what room at what time. So this is the information that you'd like to post. Well, first of all, you'd like to give this information to coaches when they first come in so they know where their students are, and so that the contestants can plan their day accordingly. Also, you'd probably like to post this outside of the rooms where these events are taking place. So the next thing that Tournament Manager does is it makes documents that you can use to print out and use as handouts for those coaches or for those contestants. Now, let's say that you've done this, but then it's 48 hours or so before your tournament, and you haven't yet printed off those sheets, and you get a change from a coach. And let's say that Bruce Banner called and said that he's going to have to drop 2 of his informatives. So instead of 4, he's down to 2. Well, now we need to rerun a few things. And before we rerun them, we need to clear out the information that's there. Otherwise, we'll end up with residual information that doesn't get overwritten. So let's just go ahead and delete out everything in the rooms and everything in contestants. We can leave everything in events. That'll be fine. But we will still have to go back through and adjust those rooms. So let's code those contestants. Okay, so that's given us a new list of contestants. Or it will have. You can see up here that that script is still running. There they are. So that's given us a new list of contestants with those 2 taken out. Now we can assign those rooms again. And we've got rooms assigned again with those 2 taken out. Okay. So the next step is to make those documents. Before I make that, I will show you one more thing. Instead of keeping it, room 1 for extemp, room 2 for extemp, room 3, etc., you can change this to be the room number posted on the wall in the hallways. That's probably more useful than it's sincerely more useful than other methods of labeling those rooms. So I'm just going to put in the rooms that I would be using. Okay, and I won't do that for all of them. I'll just show you on extemp what that's going to make it look like, and you just have to extrapolate that out to the rest of them. Oh, one more thing about this room assigner. It is not perfect. It does a pretty good job of keeping a level playing field, meaning that it does a pretty good job of scheduling things so that you don't have teammates competing against each other too often, and so that you don't have contestants competing against the same contestants in multiple rounds. Now, obviously, the fewer rooms you have, the more difficult that is for anybody to do, and that's especially true for this program. So before you go too far, before you go past this step, it's a good idea to review each of these events and make sure that the schedule looks right. It's much easier to move them now than it would be to move them later. So if you have to move somebody, do it at this point. I'm not going to spend the time, since this is a fake tournament and I'm not overly concerned. I will go ahead and make those documents. And what this is doing is it is generating a Google Doc, for each of the events, and that document will have the room numbers and contestants in each room. Basically, the information you're looking at now, only it'll be blown up and on a Google Doc. So this script does take a little while because it has to cycle through all that information many times, and it's also creating a folder for you in your Google Drive. So it says room schedules created in your 4 and 6 room schedules folder. Even if you don't have that folder already, it will create one for you. So you just click OK. And I've provided a link to that in the TM data spreadsheet, or sheet rather. So you click on that link and it takes you to this folder. Excuse me. And you see we've got a schedule for each of these events. And because I changed it to the actual numbers of the rooms, that's what's showing up here at the top. For extemp and IDA, you should definitely, I was going to say probably, but you should really definitely insert a column to the left that has the draw times, so that you can put in your draw times here. I plan to implement that in a future version of the Tournament Manager, but as of yet, I haven't made it that far. You could also put in here, right on the side or something, round 1, round 2, round 3, just to make it clearer exactly where those or when those are taking place. All right, so I'll go ahead and close out of that. I'll click through real quick and just show you what each one of these, yep, there we go, what each one of these looks like. And the reason that it's popping up with that event with the indicators on each side is that's what the template that it uses to generate these looks like. So, all right, so that's what those look like. And at this point you can do with those files what you would like to do with them, adjust them so that they look pretty, and then print them out so that coaches and a set for coaches and a set for the walls. So, okay, on to the next thing in the Tournament Manager. All right, we've already assigned rooms, make doc, create tab sheet. Before I do that, because once I create the tab sheet, we're really going to jump into a whole nother ball game. There are 2 more menu options down here. The help option, or the help menu item, is going to take you to my website that houses the program, and also has, you know, some tutorial information. This video will end up there, and also there's a donate menu item, and I've just put this in because, you know, I've spent a lot of time and effort on this, and while I think that it should be available for, you know, everybody, if you're getting some value out of it, I would like to get paid for that. So I've set 3 different levels of donation: $10, $15, or $20, and I also put in here alternatively, if my school, if the school I'm coaching, is attending your tournament, you can just waive my school's fees, and we'll call it even. So obviously the donation will likely be much less expensive than allowing us to participate for free, but if you find it in the goodness of your heart to let us participate for free, I would gladly take that. All right, so now I'm going to go to create tab sheet, and currently I offer 3 different tab sheets: cutthroat, cumulative, and derivative. We're going to go ahead and run with cutthroat for now, just because that's one of the simplest ones, but I mean, they all run the same. I could run any of the 3, but cumulative, everybody's probably familiar with. Derivative is a little bit different. It forgoes the use of quality points and does everything based on the ranking system. It's a very interesting system, and I had a lot of fun building that spreadsheet, but you would need to have some experience with running a derivative tournament before trying to do it that way. So what this is doing now is creating a spreadsheet using all the information that we've generated so far, really. All of those contestant codes, all of the teams, all that team information, the room information, all of that is being compiled into a spreadsheet that you can use on the day of the tournament to run your tab room. Okay, and it does take a little bit. It shouldn't take more than probably 1 or 2 minutes. And again, it creates a link in the TM data sheet that will take you straight to that file. And here it is. My old version of this had a much brighter color scheme, and I received some feedback saying that was distracting, so I went with this gray and white color scheme. Change it if you want, change whatever you would like on this. The only things that I would suggest you do not change is anywhere where the information is automatically generated. So I've shown you that with the darker gray. Anything in the darker gray, don't adjust the values. You can adjust the colors, that's fine, but don't adjust those values because it will mess up the way that the whole system works. So when you originally open this, you're going to see that it's organized by the contestant codes. So 1A, 1B, 2A, 3A, so on and so forth for every contestant. It's also organized by sheet, for one sheet per each event. So you can click through and you can see each of these events. And then also it has information for sweeps. I'll explain sweeps. I'll just go ahead and explain that now. So at most tournaments that I've attended, not every participant counts for sweeps, but many do. So in order to allow you to select whether or not a participant contests for or adds to sweep points, I've included this column under C, and it's simply labeled with an S. And if one of these contestants is counted for sweeps, simply put an X in that column by their name or by their code. So typically all A's and B's are, but C's and D's, or anything beyond A and B, are not counted for sweeps. So you can go through and select those manually. If one of them gets kicked out of your tournament or something, you can simply delete their sweeps points away from their team simply by taking away their little X. All right, and then over in the A column, I've got space for names. And this column I fill out at the beginning of my tournament, or I have my computer guys fill this out as the sheets are coming in from the coaches that have the contestant names with their codes, so that you can later keep track of everything, just like you do typically in a tab room. So what makes this tab sheet so useful is everything that's found on the tabs menu. Now again, this is a new application, so whenever you run it the first time, it is going to ask for authorization. So click continue. And allow. Okay, so the script I just ran was round 1. When I clicked round 1, it organized the entire spreadsheet by room number for round 1. So now you can see everybody who's in 212 is at the top, and then 213, 214, so on and so forth. That way you can look at one room all together, and you can see if there's a discrepancy in the judging or in the tabulation of those scores. You can see if somebody got more quality points in second place than in first place, God forbid, and you hunt down that judge and figure it out. At any rate, it's much easier to see when they are in the correct order. So when you click on round 1, it organizes for round 1. When you click on round 2, organizes for round 2. Round 3 organizes for round 3. So you can get those all in. And you can see that my nice zebra stripes from the beginning, they get broken up as those things move around, which is unfortunate but inevitable. Okay, I'm going to show you break and finals after I input some scores, but I will also show you that when you click on sweeps, among other things, it's going to reorganize each of these sheets back by the code. So we're back to the original places. So, all right. I'm going to take a quick break here and put in some scores so that we can see how the other parts work. So, be back in just a minute. Okay, I'm back. So I went ahead and I put in some scores for everybody. And you can see now that after the first 3 rounds, here under place, rank, and QP, we've got some information. So place is just going to calculate by adding place for round 1, place for round 2, and place for round 3. So this person at the top got first in all 3 rounds, so they've got a 3. And then the rank is going to rank that place and well, it's just going to rank that place, sorry. So, you know, obviously if you got 125 all 3 rounds, you're going to be in first place. But it's kind of difficult to look at all that information right here. So what we're going to do is, again, use the tabs menu, and let's break it. Click break, and now we've got everything in order by rank. All right, so we'll go down to 6th place. And this is kind of interesting because we've got 2 in 6th place, each of them at 71. So instead of typically breaking 6, we'd probably break 7 in this case because, if we're tied on both rank and quality points, we would do that, and they would go into finals. So now it's just these top 6 that are going into finals, or top 7 in this case. And we've got spaces to fill in for place for judges 1, 2, and 3, and for quality points for judges 1, 2, and 3. I'll go ahead and run finals while you guys take a quick break. All right. Now my judges have deliberated, or have not deliberated. Let's try that again. Okay. So now I've got my finals results back. Judges are finished tabulating those scores, and we see a couple different things here. We can see all their scores. We can see the place overall. And then it's going to give us their final rank over here. So if I click tabs again and go to finals, it's going to reorganize everything by that final rank. So we've got in first place, we can see over here, is 6C, then 2A, 3B, 6B, 1B, 1A, and 5A in 7th. We can also see how many sweeps points they gave to their team by doing so well over here in this column. Unfortunately, 6C, because he's a C, didn't get any points for his team. 3B didn't because for some reason I took them out. Let's go ahead and put them back in. All right. So sweeps are figured out over in this column. And I'll show you how that works in just a minute. I'm going to aggregate some more scores real quick for the other events. Right now, though, we can see how sweeps are stacking up. It looks like, yeah, not everybody has any sweep points so far, but you can see who's doing well and who's not. Actually, instead of compiling a whole bunch of fake scores for all of them, I'm going to simply run sweeps real quick. And that shows us that Disney United is in first place. Then Fairy Tales High, and so on and so forth. And that's all based on, you know, just those few points that they earned from this event. Because again, Extemp is the only thing I've done. I haven't done anything in any of the other events so far. So the final thing that you can do with TM tabs or tournament manager tabs is to print the results. So go ahead and run results, results doc, and it's going to run through and do a couple of different things. And what it's doing is generating a sheet, or not a sheet, no. It's generating a document that you can find by clicking on that link that it gives you. And that document has the results of the tournament. Now, the only one that's actually accurate is Extemp, and it's only built to handle up to 6th place. So if you do have a situation where, like we did in Extemp there, we had to take the top 7, you'd have to manually write in who took 7th. But it shows us that in first place we've got 6C, second place 2A. The reason I created this is so that you would have an easy script to read when you're doing your awards presentation. Obviously, I'm starting at 6th place all the way down to 1st place, so that you've got the added suspense as you're reading them off. All right, that is it for. Oh, and it even does sweeps down at the bottom. 3rd place, 2nd place, and 1st place. So that is it for this tutorial. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Send me an email. I think I'll probably even put a phone number in that help section so that if you run into a problem, you can call me up and I can try to work through it with you. Of course, if you're calling me on a Saturday during forensics season, I might be busy coaching, but I will try to get to a computer, depending where I am, to get to a computer and help you out so that you can get through your day. So, one more time, please remember to donate. Pitch in a little bit of money. I'd really appreciate it. If this has saved you time, then help me out a little bit. So, all right. Well, thanks a lot and enjoy.